AirAsia boss Tony Fernandes says he is devastated that a plane carrying 162 people from Indonesia to Singapore has gone missing. AirAsia Indonesia flight QZ8501, an Airbus A320-200, disappeared over the Java Sea an hour into its flight at 6:24 local time, 23:24 GMT Saturday. Bad weather was reported in the area but no distress call was made and no wreckage has been sighted. The search operation was halted for the night and resumes at about 2300 hours o'clock GMT. The plane had left Surabaya in eastern Java at 5:35 local time, 22:35 GMT Saturday, and was due to arrive in Singapore at 8:30, 12:30 GMT. Shocked relatives gathered at both airports in Singapore and Surabaya, poring over the passenger manifests. "My worst nightmare." Mr. Fernandes, AirAsia's chief executive, flew to Surabaya and later told a press briefing, "We are very devastated by what's happened, it's unbelievable. Our concern right now is for the relatives and for the next of kin. There is nothing more important to us, for our crew's family, and for the passengers' families. We hope that the aircraft is found quickly, and we can find out the cause of what has happened." An air and sea search was immediately launched, with vessels and aircraft from Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia scouring an area near Belitung Island, but nothing was found before nightfall. The Indonesian Search and Rescue Force will resume at dawn with 12 ships, 3 helicopters, and 5 aircraft. There will also be 2 C-130 planes, 1 each from Malaysia and Singapore, and 3 ships from those nations. Dense storm clouds were reported in the area at the time the plane lost contact. The pilot had asked permission to climb to 38,000 feet, 11,000 m, to avoid the clouds. But Indonesian Transport Ministry official Joko Merjatmadjo said the request could not be approved at that time due to traffic. There was a flight above, and 5 minutes later flight QZ8501 disappeared from radar. Jeffrey Thomas, of airlineratings.com, told the BBC that radar plots had shown the plane was flying at 353 knots, 100 knots slower than it should have been. Although he stressed it was only speculation, he said it was possible the pilots may have lost data on airspeed because of an ice-up of pitot tube instrumentation. This was thought to have had happened in the loss of the Air France Airbus A330 over the Atlantic Ocean in 2009. A recent safety study showed only 10% of fatal incidents occurred at cruising altitude. The AirAsia Group has previously had no fatal accidents involving its aircraft. Mr. Fernandes, who has owned AirAsia since 2001 and turned it into a highly successful operation, tweeted, "This is my worst nightmare. Difficult year." The AirAsia Indonesia plane in question was delivered in 2008, has flown 13,600 times, covering 23,000 hours, and underwent its last maintenance on November 16. The captain, Irianto, has more than 20,500 flight hours, almost 7,000 of them with AirAsia, Mr. Fernandes said. The co-pilot is French national Remy Emmanuel Plezel. AirAsia has set up an emergency line for family or friends of those who may be on board. The number is +622 129 850 801. Special centers were set up at both Singapore's Changi Airport and the Juanda International Airport in Surabaya. AirAsia Indonesia CEO Sunu Widiatmoko said the company had mobilized a support team to help take care of relatives' immediate needs, including accommodation and travel arrangements. There were 155 passengers on board, the company said in a statement. 137 adults, 17 children, and 1 infant. Most were Indonesian but several were from other countries, 1 UK national, a Malaysian, a Singaporean, and 3 South Koreans. The BBC understands that the British national is Chi Man Choi. 2 pilots and 5 crew were also on board, 1 French, the others Indonesian. This has been a difficult year for aviation in Asia. Malaysia's national carrier Malaysia Airlines has suffered 2 losses, flights MH370 and MH17. Flight MH370 disappeared on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing in March with 239 passengers and crew. The wreckage, thought to be in southern Indian Ocean, has still not been located. MH17 was shot down over Ukraine in July, killing all 298 on board.